Hi, welcome to PowerBoat Television. I'm Mike Milne and we're here in Killarney, Ontario, the eastern gateway to the legendary cruising grounds of the North Channel. Here, a boat is the easiest way to get around. Cruisers can top up on fuel and supplies, and the pace is ideal for slipping into the kind of relaxed mood for a couple of weeks on the water. So, come along and enjoy the ride. The North Channel is a protected 90 nautical mile passage between Georgian Bay and northwestern Lake Huron. But its rugged coves, islands, and anchorages have earned it the title of world's best freshwater cruising ground. Breathtaking scenery, clean water, and helpful ports of call keep cruising boaters coming back. We visit the area's legendary islands and coves and head as far west as Sault Ste. Marie in this three-part series. But Killarney is where it starts for most cruisers and charter boaters. The Killarney East Light on Red Rock Point leads boaters into the Killarney Channel, between the mainland and George Island. Accessible only by air and water just a half-century ago, the village began as a fishing base. Today, it relies on cottagers, anglers, campers, and cruisers. Visitors can dock at Killarney Mountain Lodge, the downtown docks near Herbert Fisheries, Channel Marina, Gateway Marine, and Rocks Marina. But the Sportsman's Inn, Restaurant and Marina is the largest facility by far, with 140 transient slips for boats up to 125 feet long. It was renovated and expanded recently, but has more than 100 years of history behind it. Today, the Sportsman has fuel and pump outs, plus luxury hotel rooms, fine or casual dining, a pub, and entertainment. Whether they're picking up supplies at Pitfield's store or walking the docks at the Sportsman's, visitors to Killarney are sure to be rubbing shoulders with fellow boaters. As well, there are more than half a dozen good anchorages within 15 miles. Covered Portage Cove is the closest and most popular, with great shelter, a lookout from the surrounding cliffs, and even some interesting wildlife. When cruisers arrive at the east end of the North Channel, often after long stretches of open water, many of them come directly to Covered Portage Cove. Here they get a generous taste of the kind of solitude and scenery that's going to greet them around almost every corner. If Covered Portage Cove is crowded, boaters can head southwest to nearby Snug Harbor, a deep, well-protected cove that easily shelters dozens of cruisers. Another of the area's highlights is Bay Fin, a 9-mile-long inlet between two ridges of the South La Cloche Mountains. Often called a freshwater fjord, it is one of the most scenic and monumental highlights of the North Channel. Maryanne Cove is along its southern shore, and the pool is at its eastern extremity. There, a path leads to Topaz Lake, a turquoise gem set in the hills. Like much of the wilderness around the North Channel, Topaz Lake was made famous by a group of 7 painting. But powerboaters can enjoy it for the price of a short hike from the pool. It's a sure hit with powerboaters of all ages. 4 miles south of the Lansdowne Channel, Haywood Island is another favorite stopover. There's also Beaver Island Harbor on Strawberry Island, and the village of Manitowoning, 11 miles further south. It's got a municipal marina with fuel and pump out, plus a nearby beach, historic waterfront, and shopping nearby. It's about 18 miles back north and past Strawberry Island to Little Current. Connected to the Ontario mainland by a 100-year-old swing bridge, it's Manitoulin Island's largest town with a population of 1,600. We'll be right back with more great cruising on the North Channel once we get through this bridge at Little Current. If you're cruising the North Channel, you're sure to wind up here in Little Current. It's got all the services and supplies boaters need, but it also has a long and happy history of making cruisers welcome. With boaters, it has to start at the docks, and the town of Little Current has about 1,800 feet of renovated seawall on the downtown waterfront, plus 5 ranges of floating docks. There's room for 140 visiting yachts up to 200 feet long. The landscaped waterfront boardwalk, washrooms, and showers are just a few steps from downtown. Little Wally's Dock Service is a privately owned fuel, ice, and pump-out depot. For seasonal and transient slips and mechanical services, boaters have other choices. Harborview Marina, just south of the town's swing bridge, has 60 slips, hauled in storage, plus a full slate of boat and engine sales and service. Boyle Marine has 69 slips, west of the downtown in a basin and on floating docks. It also offers storage, haul-out, and boat and engine repairs. Spider Bay Marina, also operated by the town, is further west, with 144 slips for boats up to 65 feet long. At least 50 are kept for visitors. It's got showers, a club room with Wi-Fi, and a small marine store, plus fuel and pump out. July and August are busy, so call ahead on VHF or by phone for reservations. Provisioning in Little Current is easy, especially from the East End docks. Major grocery, liquor, and beer outlets are a short walk uphill. The hospital and pharmacy are nearby. Downtown, boaters will find banks, a butcher, a bakery, and gift shops, along with several restaurants from the local Beans Cafe to the Edgewater and Anchor Inn. Turner's store, family run since 1879, even has its own museum room. Summer weekends usually mean special events. During our visit, it was Canada Day. Celebrations included a street fair, plenty of music, and even a flag-themed birthday cake, just steps from the waterfront. The town is also home to the Little Current Cruisers Net. Operated by the local yacht club, it's heard on VHF Radio Channel 71 every summer morning at 9 a.m. For 10 years, host Roy Eaton has broadcast marine weather, news, and info on local events from the Anchor Inn Hotel. Yachts check in by name and place, more than 1,000 each season, so cruisers can track the location of friends.
Over the years, we've built up a large group of boaters who call in each year or who listen. And for example, at any one time, well, best example is last summer. We had 172 boaters call in one day, and that's probably about a third of the boaters who would listen. We have created a community of helping boaters, willing to help and listen.
Some cruisers head straight for favorite islands, but plenty of quiet, well-protected anchorages are near Little Current. There's a well-sheltered bay 3 miles west of town between East and West Rouse Islands, and Mosquito Cove is just up the Wabuno Channel. Further east, Bell Cove and Sturgeon Cove are on the northwest shore of Great La Cloche Island. Heading west back across the top of Wabuno Channel, Bedford Harbor is roomy and well protected from west winds. 4 miles further west, the northeast cove of Amadraz Island offers solitude and shelter to the west and southwest. Then there's Clapperton Island, providing good holding in its southern harbor with a long deserted lodge on Harbor Island. There are also anchorages in Carling and Logan Bays on its east side, safe from west winds. This area has enough coves, anchorages, and islands for a lifetime of exploration. And here, near Clapperton Island, we're just a few minutes from the Benjamin and Croker group that many people consider to be the heart of this cruising ground. North and South Benjamin are part of a circular-shaped volcanic complex that also includes Croker and Fox Islands and features unique pink and reddish rocks. The Bay of the Benjamins between North and South Benjamin Islands is well protected with a couple of small coves that are perfect for rafting powerboats. The smooth rocks are ideal for swimming, and it's easy to pull up a dinghy when you're out exploring. Sunset watching is a popular sport here, and the smooth rocks are ideal for shoreside campfires. Mostly, boaters relax and quietly enjoy the water, the scenery, and the company of family and friends. The long bay at the south end of South Benjamin Island is also well protected, with a rugged but easily accessible shoreline. It's also ideal for raft-ups. But some cruisers always want to find their way into seemingly inaccessible bays or inlets. A couple of miles to the east, there's another popular stop. Quartz and pink granite are two things that spring to mind when people think of fabulous northern scenery. But to combine that with great swimming, hiking, and blueberries, boaters head to Croker Island. A beach northeast of the main Anchorage has sand flecked with golden iron pyrites, and a campsite that's popular with local boaters. There's great swimming in the golden sand and from smooth rocks on the south side of the island, overlooking the main channel. For most cruisers, Fox Island is the final part of the North Channel's winning trifecta. It has tricky approaches and an entrance that's infested with rocky shoals, but it's well worth the effort. Here in Fox Harbor, the shorelines clearly show how far the water levels have fallen in recent years. But the anchorage here still has plenty of depth and provides some of the most unique scenery and the best protection from weather in the North Channel. West of Fox, Eagle Island has a large open anchorage that's well protected from south and west winds, along with a small islet. At the west end of Eagle, Armour Island and a smaller islet form a compact but well-protected anchorage. For more room and more company, cruisers can head north of Frechette Island into the east end of McBean Channel and north through the channel at Oak Point. Oak Bay is to the west. There's also a series of anchorages to the east, north of Hotham Island. Like many North Channel coves, they are well protected and often attract an enthusiastic group of cruisers. Further west in the McBean Channel, Schupak Bay is open and accommodating, followed by the narrow channel of Little Detroit. Bay of the Benjamins is home port for some liveaboard cruisers, but services and supplies are available only about 12 miles away to the northwest in Spanish, south in Kagawong, or southwest in Gore Bay. Gore Bay is a good place to stop if you need provisions or services, but it's ideal if you need a yacht. From the lighthouse on Janet Head, it's about a 2-mile cruise down Gore Bay to the community of the same name. It's the second largest town on Manitoulin Island. Gore Bay has restaurants, groceries, and liquor stores, all within a short walk from the waterfront. The town marina has 130 service slips, with washrooms, showers, and plenty of room for visitors. Purvis Storage, with a large boatyard beside the harbor, hauls and launches yachts and can arrange boat and engine repair. Some visitors choose to stay here, storing and launching their boats in the midst of the North Channel. There are even a couple of restaurants right on the water, including Cafe on the Bay in the red-roofed pavilion, and Boy's Restaurant. But for cruisers who are picking up charter boats, the Canadian Yacht Charter Complex is where it all starts. With 5 powerboats up to 39 feet long and a large fleet of sailboats, CYC has been providing worry-free cruising to experienced boaters for 2 decades. CYC has a well-stocked marine chandlery for both charter and visiting boaters. The Gore Bay Marina fuel and service dock is at the south end of the CYC base. The Marina Basin is right next door. Cruisers arrive to find their yacht clean, fueled up, and ready to go for a week or more on the water. Captains and crew get detailed briefings and cruising tips on places to visit.
People that have chartered with us come from all over the world, and they have told us time and time again at how fully equipped our boats really are, and they're always surprised at what we think of, all the small details, and how little they really have to bring. Basically, it's your food and drinks and some clothing, a bathing suit, and that's all you need.
What it is up here, it's an adventure. It's not just a sailing holiday, it's an adventure, especially if you like to take pictures. It has everything that you can imagine to offer. You can pick the islands you want to go to, and each anchorage is different than the one before it.
Cruisers who only need fuel, a pump out, and a few groceries can also head south of Clapperton Island to the marina at Kagawong, east of Gore Bay on Manitoulin Island. Visits to nearby Bridalveil Falls and St. John the Evangelist, Marina's church, are a bonus. For cruisers on the North Shore and already heading west past Little Detroit, Spanish is another option for fuel and provisions. The town's marina has a newly dredged channel, 125 service slips, fuel pump out, and a launch ramp. There are showers and washrooms in the clubhouse, as well as an observation deck. Further west on the Spanish River, El Minero and El Rio Marina has 60 seasonal slips, haul-out, storage, and a launch ramp. Shopping and restaurants in town are a short taxi ride from either marina. Further west along the Wells Back Channel, each anchorage has its own story. There's the Otter Island anchorage at the west end of Aird Island, and Schupak Bay on the mainland with its high cliff shoreline. In the east end of John Island, Moyles Harbour was once a depot for a booming lumber mill. And at the west end, John Harbour was home to a commercial fishing station called Galilee. Bear Drop, another of the North Channel's favorite anchorages, is just a couple of miles to the north, behind two islands that hug the mainland. Here in Bear Drop Harbour, we're as far west as many North Channel cruisers ever go. But there's more to explore as we head to Sault Ste. Marie and then back to Manitoulin Island. So join me next time as we continue our cruise. Hi, welcome to PowerBoat Television. I'm Mike Milne, and this week we're in Long Point Cove. From here to Sault Ste. Marie and back to western Manitoulin Island, we're going to visit large and small ports of call and even do some cross-border cruising into the USA. There's much more to explore in the North Channel of Georgian Bay and the St. Mary's River. The North Channel Yacht Club is just around the corner in Sprague, once the site of a booming lumber mill. The club is mainly sailors with about 50 members who share work to keep costs down. Visiting boaters are welcome when space is available. Turnbull Island and about a dozen small islands and islets around it are 6 miles to the southwest. There's a well-protected main anchorage and countless hideaways among the islets. It's the westernmost wilderness island group on the Channel's North Shore. It's about 13 miles through the islands and open water to the town of Blind River. The municipal marine park has 95 service slips, fuel, pump out, a nearby boat repair shop, and well-equipped clubhouse. With a population of 3,800, the town is a regional hub with a full range of shopping and services. Back in the boat, it's a 27-mile open water run west to Thessalon, a former lumber town with a recently upgraded marina. The North Channel connects Georgian Bay and Lake Huron, and here in Thessalon, it's also the way to Sault Ste. Marie and Lake Superior, plus a western gateway for cruisers from the USA. The town has a Border Services Agency check-in site, and at least 25 of the 60 service slips at the municipal marina are reserved for visitors. There's fuel, pump out, and a relatively new clubhouse. The small town atmosphere and the nearby downtown keep cruisers coming back, along with the islands and coves further east. Off St. Joseph Island, we're officially at the western end of the North Channel. The St. Joseph Channel curves around the island. For powerboats that can get under the Twining Island Bridge, it's a great way to reach Sault Ste. Marie. St. Joseph Channel has some scenic, well-protected anchorages, and for a change of pace, there are 2 well-equipped marinas ready to welcome cruisers to St. Joseph Island. Hilton Beach, on the island's more open northeast shore, is the first we visit. The municipal marina has 165 service slips, plenty of room for visitors, plus fuel, pump out, and a launch ramp. For many visiting cruisers and area cottagers, the village's waterfront restaurants are the main attraction. The route north gives a taste of the area's scenery and the island's lighthouses. St. Joseph Island was originally settled by farmers, but has a population of 1,800 these days and an economy that relies mainly on tourism. There are plenty of cottages in the area, but Portlock Harbour still has good places to drop the hook. Local boaters also gather in the anchorages northwest of Campmont Dours Island. Richard's Landing, St. Joseph Island's largest town, is under the bridge and a couple of miles further west. It also has a recently redeveloped municipal marina and clubhouse with 72 service slips and room for visitors. There's fuel, pump out, a launch ramp, and the Lighthouse Grill restaurant, which is located right on the waterfront. It's an easy walk to shopping downtown. And every night, there's a free show as the sun sets over the St. Joseph Channel. West of here, past another lighthouse, we hook up with the St. Mary's River shipping route at Stribling Point. The upbound channel heading north is well marked, and freighters lead the way to Sault Ste. Marie. Sault is French for rapids, but the river these days is tamed by locks and dams. Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario is home to about 74,000 people and the SR Algoma steel mill. The city-operated Bellevue Marina is first in line on the North Shore. It has fuel, pump out, and a launch ramp, but mostly seasonal berths. The Roberta Bondar Marina, named after Canada's first female astronaut, is about a mile and a half further upriver, with all of its 50 slips for visiting boaters. It shares the basin with a 188-foot museum ship Norgoma, and is within easy walking distance of several restaurants in the city's downtown. Shopping for provisions is a short taxi ride away. The Canadian Bushplane Heritage Centre is on the riverfront nearby. With almost 24 aircraft on display, it tells the story of aviation in Canada's north. For a taste of Lake Superior, head through the historic Canadian Lock. Pleasure boaters can also use the American Commercial Lock, but the Canadian facility handles only recreational traffic. Past the steel mill and a shipbreaking yard, it's another 10 miles into the open water of Whitefish Bay and the world's largest freshwater lake. Heading south on the St. Mary's River, we join freighters on the downbound channel, then head through the Detour Passage to Lake Huron and the Detour Reef Lighthouse. In Michigan's Pottawatomie Bay, we stop at the popular Anchorage in Harbor Island, then the nearby Drummond Island Yacht Haven. With about 60 slips for visiting boats up to 120 feet long, it's the island's main pleasure boat channel. Powerboaters always remember a friendly port of call that can service and even store your boat. But if there's great food and golf, you must be in Drummond Island. The marina has fuel, pump out, a chandlery, a complete service department for boat and engine repairs, and even indoor storage. And its location makes it an ideal stopover.
The North Channel, of course, brings everyone here. If people are coming from Canada, the draw is going to Mackinac Island, and the other people are going to Killarney, Little Current, wherever the beautiful North Channel. We're the last U.S. stop before you get into Canada, and U.S. Customs has a port of entry here, so any boats coming back from Canada usually stop here to check back into the United States. A lot of people come to fish. We have a couple of very fine restaurants on the island. They get here and it's very relaxing and laid back.
There's a shuttle service to shopping and the Drummond Island Resort, with hotel-style accommodations, bowling, and casual dining. For fine dining, head to the Bayside Restaurant, which is even accessible by water. And The Rock, an 18-hole golf course, has fearless deer. Coburn Island to the east could be Drummond Island's Canadian counterpart, so the contrast is startling. The harbor in Tolsmaville is well maintained and accommodating. But the island that was once home to hundreds of settlers now has only a few dozen summer residents, along with a historic schoolhouse building, church, and municipal buildings. Visiting cruisers are welcome, but have to bring their own supplies. About 15 miles further east, Meldrum Bay is a Canadian Customs check-in point and Manitoulin Island's westernmost port of call. The village marina has fuel, pump out, and 40 service slips, at least half for visiting cruisers. There's a small general store and liquor outlet. The main attraction for many is the historic Meldrum Bay Inn, built in 1878 and carefully restored. Rooms are available, but the real drawing card for boaters is the menu in the licensed dining room. For cruisers returning to Georgian Bay, it's 70 miles to Killarney. The North Channel's wilderness anchorages and friendly ports, though, are sure to bring them back. The spectacular scenery may not change, but every visit is a chance to experience it in a new way.